Hello again, everybody. Welcome to USA Wrestling Weekly. I'm Scott Casper. It's time for this week's news and features from USA Wrestling, the national governing body of our sport. We start with the U.S. Women's World Team news. It's been finalized. The team has, that is. A wrestle-off took place at Palmer High School in Colorado Springs over the weekend. Now, spots were up for grabs in the three non-Olympic weight classes of 112, 130, and 147 pounds. The U.S. Open champs at those weights sat out until the best-of-3 championship series. Who were they? Jessica Medina at 112, Allie Reagan at 130, and Veronica Carlson at 147. Get back to the action. It kicked off in the morning with the challenge tournament. First up, Victoria Anthony moved to 112 from her normal weight of 105. She would win 3 bouts, including an impressive 8-0 tech fall over Whitney Conder in the challenge tournament final. At 130 pounds, Erin Klodgo had a dominant morning session of her own, and she needed it. She took the challenge tournament with a 7-0 tech fall over Shauna Isbell in the final bout. Klodgo dropped down from 138 for the event. Another winner in the challenge tourney was Jackie Cataline, who edged out Amanda Hendy at 147 pounds in the finals. The score, 8-7. Cataline also dropped weight after placing second at the U.S. Open at 158 pounds. Now, the second session featured the best-of-3 championship series. At 112, Victoria Anthony continued her hot streak against national champion Jessica Medina. With her offense going strong, Anthony won a bout, and that bout was number 1. She did it 5-3, then closed out the series with a 6-1 victory in bout 2. Anthony is a college star for Simon Fraser in Canada and was named the Mat.com Wrestler of the Week for her performance.
I was really nervous all day. I was nervous in my first match against Catherine. Super tough. All these girls are so tough. So it was really nice to be able to pull out the win against these super tough competitors.
Well, U.S. Open champion Allie Reagan was at the top of her game at 130 pounds, and she needed just 2 bouts to defeat Erin Klodgo for the team berth. Reagan won a close battle in the first match, 6-5, then poured on the offense to win the second by tech fall, 8-0, the final score. Reagan's a star for King University and recently won a silver medal at the World University Games.
I knew that I needed to have a good tournament before I came in here, so I'm glad that it was in Russia and I got that out of the way before I came here, so it was a good experience in Russia too. So.
Well, U.S. Open champion Veronica Carlson was dominant in a 2-match sweep at 147. She beat Jackie Cataline by tech falls in both bouts, 8-0, then 7-0. Carlson got a leg lace in both and then turned Cataline repeatedly, picking up 2 dominant victories.
My game plan going in was not so much to focus on winning, but just keeping composure and doing what I do best, exploiting, what I saw was there.
All 3 champions earned a spot on their first senior world team set to compete at the World Championships this September 18th in Budapest, Hungary. They'll be joined by world champions Elena Perizkova at 138, world champion Adeline Gray at 158, world silver medalist Helen Maroulis at 121, and world bronze medalist Alyssa Lampe at 105. And of course, Team USA has high expectations for this year's World Championships. Have you sent in your stance? You're watching USA Wrestling Weekly.
ASICS has been there. They've been the lifeblood of the sport. It's been a long time, and they've been at the top of the game every year, forever. And I'll tell you what, now that I think about it, maybe that's where I've gotten my inspiration, because I always want to be in the top of my game in wrestling, and I think that's where ASICS is and wants to be as well.
The 2013 World Team Trials for both juniors and seniors will be held June 20th through the 23rd in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This is your chance to see national champs, world medalists, Olympians, all competing to see who will represent the U.S. at the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary, and the FILA Junior World Championships in Sofia, Bulgaria. Visit www.theworldteamtrials.com for all your ticketing and travel information. ASICS is the proud sponsor of USA Wrestling's national teams.
Well, it was a busy week for U.S. athletes overseas as Americans entered a pair of international events in Armenia and Poland. The U.S. had a strong showing in Armenia. It features some of the top international teams in the world, and why wouldn't it? Team USA had 3 individual champs and 5 medals in the competition. Capturing a gold at 163 was 2012 Olympic champ and 2011 world champ Jordan Burroughs. He won 4 bouts on the way to his title. Burroughs opened with tech falls over athletes from Georgia, Armenia, and Russia. He edged out 2012 European junior champion Akhmaz Sanakuyev of Russia 7-6. Burroughs ran his undefeated record on the senior level to 60-0, a streak which began after his collegiate career at Nebraska completed in the spring of 2011. Burroughs is preparing to compete at the 2013 World Championships, just like others. It'll take place in Budapest, Hungary this September. Another 2013 U.S. World Team member also captured gold. It was Brent Metcalf at 145. Metcalf won 5 times, including a victory over Okhman Motoyev of Kyrgyzstan in the finals there, and a win over world silver medalist Gogayev of Russia in round 2. The third American champ was Clayton Foster, who had a second-place finish at the 2013 U.S. World Team Trials. He claimed 3 victories on his way to the title, including a win over David Marsagishvili of Georgia for the gold. Claiming a silver medal at 121, Angel Escobedo. His only loss came in the finals against a tough Georgian, and that young man looks to be a world beater in the future for sure. Escobedo was second at the World Team Trials just this year. Earning a bronze medal was 2013 NCAA champ Chris Perry of Oklahoma State. He battled back through the repechage rounds to claim his medal. Perry is a former junior world bronze medalist in his first big international event since his college career ended. Over in Warsaw, Poland now we go. The U.S. Greco-Roman world team entered the Pytaliński Memorial International, a major tune-up event just prior to the World Championships. World Team member Andy Bisick had the top performance among the Americans, taking 5th at 163. He opened the event with tech fall wins over opponents from Sweden, Hungary, and Poland. He was edged by Robert Rosengren of Sweden in the semifinals, then dropped the bronze medal bout to Ruzan Izakov of Russia. Bisick did all of this with a bad fever, but still managed to go out and put on a strong performance. 2-time world bronze medalist Olympian Justin Lester jumped up to 163 pounds and won his first 2 bouts, beating 2 wrestlers from Spain. Also capturing wins for the U.S., 2-time Olympian Spencer Mango at 121 and first-time world team member Jesse Thielke at 132. We talked with National Greco-Roman coach Steve Frazier about Bisick's efforts and the overall results of Team USA.
We had some very good performances, we saw some very good stuff with some athletes, and some were flat or didn't perform that well. Again, we're always trying to win medals, obviously, but more so the important thing is that we see what we got to fine-tune and work on over the next month or so.
Well, last week some of the weigh-in pictures from Bellator 97 were featured on this show. And it took place, of course, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it featured 5 well-known wrestlers. USA Wrestling was a special guest at the event held at the Santa Ana Star Center. It was a great night for all 5 athletes on the card who won their matches on Spike TV. Well, in the main event, a lightweight world championship fight indeed. It was Michael Chandler who scored a quick 44-second first-round TKO of David Rickles to retain the crown. Chandler was an NCAA All-American walk-on wrestler while at Missouri and moved to a 12-0 record in his MMA career.
It's the latest performance of my career. I don't know. There's 1,000 ways to win, 1,000 ways to lose in this sport. You can catch somebody here, and make them go down like that at any time. So it's a crazy sport, and I'm just glad it's over. I'm glad we got the finish. I'm glad I got all my friends and family here.
In the welterweight world championship bout, it was 2008 U.S. Freestyle Olympic wrestler Ben Askren who defended his title and did it well. Got a win over Andrei Koreshkov of Russia with a 4th-round TKO. Askren took Koreshkov to the mat every period, controlling all the action until the referee finally called a stop to the bout. Askren, a 2-time NCAA champ from Missouri, moved to 12-0 in his MMA career.
I was just sitting on top of him, and I was telling the ref, like, well, how many times do I hit him before you're going to stop this? Because this is, at this point, it's getting ugly.
You said that to him out loud?
Yeah, and then he rolled over, and I was still hitting him. I'm like, well, he rolled over, but he's not defending. I'm just still punching him in the head, like, you know, he's got to do something. This is just ridiculous.
In the light heavyweight tournament final, it was wrestler King Mo Lawal who won a third-round TKO over Jacob Noe 2 minutes 51 seconds into that one. Lawal was dominant throughout with strong wrestling skills and a relentless striking attack on the mat. Following the win, Lawal thanked USA Wrestling.
Well, first and foremost, let me give a shout out to USA Wrestling, because today was a tribute to wrestling. And I knew I can't come out here not wrestling, because, you know, we got Mike Chandler, Ben Askren, Sean Bunch, you know, Bubba Jenkins, Will Smith. They out here, Will Brooks, they out here wrestling. So I can't be outshined. So I came and show my technique that Coach Jackson taught me.
Lawal is a past U.S. Freestyle World Team member, an All-American for Oklahoma State, and a Division II champ for Central Oklahoma. He moved to 11-2 with his victory.
Man, I wrestled with Kevin Jackson, John Smith. I used to train with Steve Mocco and Daniel Cormier, you know, Kerry McCoy, Tolly Thompson. I'm naming guys you probably don't know. You know.
Past NCAA champ Bubba Jenkins used an all-around attack with strong ground and pound. In the second round, to score a tuck fall of a knockout with Mike Barreras in the second round of the lightweight fight that featured the two former wrestlers. Jenkins was an NCAA champ for Arizona State and an NCAA runner-up at Penn State, while Barreras was a four-time Division II All-American when he competed for Adams State in Central Oklahoma. Jenkins, who now trains with USA Wrestling's grappling coach Ricardo Laborio, moved to 4-0 in his young MMA career.
Feels good to be 4-0 right now. Got my lungs burned out a little bit. Felt a little fatigued because I've never been to the second round, and it's been a year since I fought. But overall, man, I feel pretty good, and I feel like I did a good job for Bellator and representing wrestlers very well.
In a preliminary bantamweight bout, it was wrestler Sean Bunch who earned a split decision victory over Russell Wilson, taking the scorecards of at least two of the three officials. Bunch moved to 2-0 in his pro career. He was a 2009 U.S. Freestyle World Team member and an NCAA runner-up for Edinburgh.
I could have dominated the whole thing, but third round, I don't know if it was, I've been training for such a long time, I kept having these fights to fall through, so my training camp was longer than usual. I was coming off an injury, so it's been a while since I competed, but I was excited to be out there, and I feel like I drained myself.
After the competition, Bellator CEO Bjorn Rebney talked about the importance of wrestlers in MMA and why the sport belongs in the Olympic Games.
Look at the guys who are inside of our cage performing at an elite world-class level. You look at Askren, you look at Chandler, you look at Mo, you look at Bunch, you look at Bubba. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. All of these guys came out of wrestling programs. You take away that pot of gold to a wrestler, you take away that Olympic dream, and the superstar athletes like the Moes, the Asprens, the Chandlers, these guys may not matriculate to wrestling and in turn may not end up mixed martial artists.
Stay tuned, we'll be back. You're watching USA Wrestling Weekly.
Wrestlers, are you ready for the next step? USA Wrestling challenges you to test your skills at the USA Wrestling Clifton Athletic Folkstyle Nationals. Become a national champion. Head to the Unidome in Cedar Falls, Iowa on April 5th and 6th to compete against the best wrestlers in the country. Last year's event featured 1,200 cadet and junior wrestlers from 32 states on 26 mats. For more information about this event and other tournaments, visit usawrestlingevents.com.
Each season, Liberty Mutual's Responsible Sports Community Grant Program awards $65,000 to youth sports organizations and school sports programs that demonstrate their commitment to responsibility in youth sports. Your organization could be one of our 20 winners this season. It's easy. Simply visit responsiblesports.com and click on the Community Grant Program. Administrators register their organization with the program, then reach out to rally parents, coaches, and team supporters to log on and review either the Responsible Sports Parenting or Responsible Coaching Guide. Then complete the quiz and showcase your mastery of the concepts. Every successfully passed quiz is worth a point that you can credit to your favorite youth sports organization or school sports program. Connect with friends, family, and neighbors members to rally more support. The teams and schools with the most points at the end of the grant period win. It's that simple. Watch the leaderboard throughout the grant season, then rally more of your supporters to increase your totals. Liberty Mutual is committed to celebrating and championing youth sports and to financially supporting organizations that demonstrate their commitment to responsible sports. Join the movement and start earning points toward your community grant.
Prior to the fight, there was a special wrestling clinic held featuring world champs Joe Warren and Les Gutches at Jackson's Mixed Martial Arts in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The gym, owned by mixed martial arts coach Greg Jackson, well, the event was organized by USA Wrestling, Bellator, and Spike TV. Dozens of young wrestlers from across the state came out to meet their wrestling and MMA heroes. MMA legend Frank Shamrock is a big supporter of wrestling and filmed the clinic for Spike TV. Highlights of the event will be shown on the Fight Master television show featuring Shamrock, Jackson, Joe Warren, and Randy Couture as the coaches. Shamrock welcomed the young athletes and their families and introduced the special guests at the clinic.
Wrestling is a foundation of combat sports in America, and Bellator MMA has become the destination for world champions and fellow Olympians. Wrestling breeds character, nurtures leadership, and teaches important life lessons to its participants and its community.
Next, it was Greg Jackson's turn to host the clinic, addressing the young athletes present.
The toughest athletes in the world are wrestlers, there's no doubt. I train athletes from a lot of different disciplines in mixed martial arts, and the toughness that wrestling breeds, the coachability, and the character is second to none.
Joe Warren, a world Greco-Roman champ in 2006, is also a top fighter for Bellator.
Steve Frazier, my Olympic coach. He's an Olympic gold medalist in Greco-Roman wrestling. He put his gold medal on my neck, and I remember I was like your size. And the medal was huge and heavy, and I just remember this like yesterday. Him telling me that I could make history. I could be the next world champ for Greco-Roman wrestling.
World freestyle champion and Olympian Les Gutches, USA Wrestling Associate Executive Director for Programs and Strategy, made his presentation as well.
Because of the wrestling, or because of the lessons that wrestling teaches, because of the character it develops, the vast majority of our members go on to be successful in life and their chosen endeavors.
Then we heard from USA Wrestling President Jim Ravanack and New Mexico State Chairperson Lauren Vigil, who addressed all in attendance.
You know, the Olympics are more important, I think, to you guys than it is to the next level. When you get to that, you get your age now, preparing for the Olympics, you start at 4, 5, 6 years old right here.
I wrestled here in New Mexico. I wrestled out at Stanford University, and obviously I love the sport enough to keep involved in it. Just for all you New Mexico people, know that you can call me up, ask me questions, and I'll help you out in any way I can.
Well, for the next 30 minutes, world champs Warren and Gutches gave a technique clinic for the kids. Gutches showed a move, Warren showed another, and the two heroes went back and forth with a variety of wrestling instruction. When the clinic ended, the wrestlers and coaches spent time greeting each other and came together for a pose, including a big group shot with everybody in their wrestling stance. Now, the photo of the wrestlers in their stance is, of course, all a part of the Keep Olympic Wrestling effort, which leads us into our next story. This week, the Committee for the Preservation of Olympic Wrestling, along with FILA, the International Wrestling Federation, launched a worldwide social media campaign called Take a Stance. Wrestlers, fans, and supporters from across the country and around the world are asked to post images via social media platforms of themselves, their friends, or teammates in their classic wrestling stance. You can post your picture to any social media platform, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and others, using the hashtag #TakeAStance. Fans who don't use social media can also email their photos to Take a Stance Wrestling at the address on your screen. The Take a Stance program has gotten off to a great start. Hundreds of photos from around the world have already been posted with the goal of thousands more. At the Women's World Team Wrestle-Off in Colorado Springs, 3 champs at the tournament showed their stance. Here's a look at Victoria Anthony, Veronica Carlson, and Allie Reagan. The referees at the tournament also posed for the movement. Have some fun and post a photo of you and your friends in your favorite stance. It's a campaign designed to show just how popular the sport is around the world, and of course to help build the case for why the sport should remain in the games. Well, this past week during the Women's World Team Wrestle-Off in the Springs, we had an opportunity to talk with a number of those from the wrestling community who were on hand to offer their support for the athletes. Lee and Ben Provisor, world-class athletes who are also married, showed up with their brand new baby daughter, only 6 days old. How about that? She attended her first wrestling event. Here's one of our newest wrestling family members.
This is Evelyn Rose Provisor, and today she's 6 days old.
6 days old. Wow.
She's getting pretty old.
Also in attendance, 2008 Olympic bronze medalist Randy Miller, who's making a comeback with the goal of making yet another Olympic team. Miller's now a member of the Army World Class Athlete Program and is training at the OTC.
So far, it's been good. Just getting back into things. It's been a lot of fun. Right now, everything's real fresh, so it's very exciting. A little sore, but other than that, feeling really good.
2013 U.S. World Team member Alyssa Lampe was there. Lampe will compete at the World Championships at 105. She talked about winning gold medals in 2 European tournaments this summer.
I think I wrestled good. Everything was just working for me, my shots and my parterre offense. So none of my matches went past or to the full 6 minutes. So anytime that happens, it's a good day.
Also in the audience, Greco-Roman wrestler Nate Engel. He just returned from Israel, where he won gold medals in both Olympic styles at the Maccabi Games earlier this month.
It was a lot of fun. The first week we'd have practice in the morning, then we'd tour basically from 11 till 11 at night, and went to Masada, Jerusalem, to the Wailing Wall. We went to the Dead Sea.
Our international coverage continues when we return. Stay tuned.
There comes a point in your life that determines who you are, whether you will lead or follow, whether you will fight or give in, whether you will win or lose, and what you will count as your victory.
Well, the Junior World Wrestling Championships begin next week in Sofia, Bulgaria, and the U.S. teams are in the final stages of preparation for what promises to be a challenging event. The first team to compete will be the U.S. Greco-Roman squad, the juniors. Junior World Greco-Roman coach Mark Alverson talked about the progress of his athletes.
Well, yesterday we reviewed the Asian Junior Continental Championships, and then we talked about some things, and then we wrestled some matches and had some officials there so they could get a feel for the rules.
Returning to the Junior Worlds for the second straight year is Indiana star Luke Sheridan.
We got out here last week, and the team chemistry is awesome. I only knew actually, I think 3 of the guys before the camp actually started, but we've all bonded really well. Like I said, the chemistry is awesome. The training's going great.
Hayden Tuma, a junior national champ this year in Fargo, has competed at the Cadet Worlds in the past and is now testing himself at the FILA junior level.
Everything's been going good. I've been feeling good. The wrestling on my feet and drilling all my moves. Everything's been coming together like as of lately. My parterre game it's been pretty on. Most people have been having a hard time stopping my gut wrenches and my lifts, so I'm feeling good going into Worlds.
Competing in his first world level event is heavyweight Sam Stahl of Minnesota. He's become an impressive talent in Greco.
First time at camp, having fun, working hard, and hopefully go get a medal over in Bulgaria.
USA Wrestling Weekly will provide reports from the Junior Worlds and Cadet Worlds in the coming weeks, and we invite you to stay tuned. Well, no doubt you've heard about the series of Google Hangouts featuring wrestling athletes and leaders. Well, they continued last week with a session with Kyle Dake. It It was a historic year for Dake, who became the first ever wrestler to win 4 NCAA titles in 4 different weights while competing for Cornell. This spring, he finished second in the World Team Trials, right behind Olympic champ Jordan Burroughs. Dake visited with fans and shared his thoughts on the hangout.
This past Tuesday, or I guess Monday, I moved into my new apartment, and I was moving my NCAA trophies. I was like, dang, I have 4 of these? Come on now, that's crazy. And you know, it just goes to show you, that it quite hasn't sunk in yet. But it was just an awesome feeling at the end to be able to celebrate it with my family and all my friends and my teammates there.
Well, the Google Hangouts are scheduled for every Thursday afternoon. This week, USA Wrestling's Executive Director Rich Bender will be there, along with Olympic champ Rutland Gardner. Well, those who enjoy late-night television may have noticed a very big, prominent Save Olympic Wrestling message recently. Marty Strayer, guitarist for the Courtyard Hounds, wore a Save Olympic Wrestling t-shirt when his band was a guest on Jay Leno's NBC Tonight Show. The band features a number of the members of the former Dixie Chicks, and Strayer is married to lead singer Emily Robinson. He was a college wrestler at Wilkes College, is the son of NCAA All-American Marty Strayer of Penn State. Martin Strayer and the Courtyard Hounds joins a growing list of celebrities who have stepped up to offer their support for the movement. We invite you to do the same. Well, it's time for our USA Wrestling Photo of the Week contest. The pictures are sent in from around the country and are being considered for our contest in USA Wrestler Magazine and our Facebook page. This week, our Photo of the Week is one of the hundreds in our Take a Stance shots that have been posted in the last few days. This one shows a new bride and groom taking their wrestling stance at their recent wedding reception. Keep those photos coming. Support Olympic wrestling. Have them considered when you send your photos in to Gary Abbott at GAbbott@usawrestling.org. Folks, that'll do it for this week's show. From all of us at USA Wrestling, here's my stance. I'm Scott Casper, and thanks for watching.